Hey, everybody, and welcome to True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. This is Katie Weaver, and I am here with my sister and partner in crime, Kristi Brower. Hello.
Hello. Hey, you guys.
How's it going?
Really good. Really good. Just living the dream. What can I say?
Living the dream.
Having a lot of
Yeah.
fun. Really just enjoying this podcast a lot.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Yep. I'm really excited about the directions it's going, and
Mm.
I'm so
I know.
excited
I am
about
too.
our commitment this year to cover more of the missing and murdered Indigenous women cases are so enlightening and disturbing as hell. But really, I feel like this is a path I'm really glad to see us on. Yeah,
Too. Something we've got to do.
for sure. Plus, I'm so excited about some cemetery tours this year.
Yeah,
Really
we're gonna do
excited.
some fun stuff this spring.
Yeah.
Someday, when spring
Yep.
comes. In
Yeah.
January in Idaho, it feels like spring may never come.
Never. Never.
But it will. It will. We just have to.
The sun will
We
never
just have
shine again. Yeah. Oh, yikes.
to.
Well, I have a cold read case today, Kristi, to present to you.
Okay.
This is a murdered and missing person, actually. So the case goes as such. In the end of December, well, the beginning of December, sorry, December 2nd, 2019, Christine Holloway did not show up to work. And it didn't make sense. And so her coworkers had called the police. They came, it sounds like, and checked the first time. Nobody answered the door and they left. The second time they came and knocked on the door and forced their way inside and discovered that Christine Holloway had been beaten to death.
Mm.
And her family was immediately alerted and in a panic because she had a 1-year-old that was gone. No sign of her. Her
Mm.
car seat was gone. Her diaper bag was gone. Multicolor polka dot comforter was gone. And the baby was gone. And there was no sign of any injury to the baby. But of course, mom had been beaten to death. Boyfriend and dad was immediately suspected because he had a history of domestic violence and was a pretty scary dude. And so they started, looking for him. Now, I should say this happened in Connecticut,
Okay.
in Ansonia. So, at any rate, they start looking for him and they do find him finally in February and arrest him at his mother's home. And he won't talk. He's not saying anything about where the baby is. They've questioned him many times. He's not saying she wasn't there. Uh, he has been charged in murder charges, of course, for killing Christine. He has pled
Mm.
not guilty. Because of COVID, the courts came to a screeching halt, or slowed way down. And so there hasn't been much court. He actually goes to court this week, at the end of this week. So we'll keep an eye on it for sure. But there is absolutely no sign of the baby.
Mm.
And so all they really have is speculation. Did he have a girlfriend? And did he pass the baby off to her? Did he remove her from the country by any chance? Her family says that he really doesn't have family in Mexico, or, a lot of people had wondered if that was the case, considering that, he is Hispanic, or at least partially so, and has, a Mexican last name, or a Spanish last name. But so there was speculation. Maybe she's in Mexico. And that really hit home to me because we had a client who years ago, her daughter
Something.
died, and the dad of her baby, or well, she wasn't a baby. She was, I don't know, about 6 at the time that our client's daughter died. So she had custody of her granddaughter and had been back and forth in court. Oh my goodness, so many times with this guy. Um, but he was a felon and a drug addict, and there was a lot of stuff that basically she had been awarded custody of her, and he had visitation. Well, he and his parents, his grandparents, stole her and took her in a Greyhound bus to Mexico, where
Mm,
our client had the fight of her life on her hands to get this little girl back.
yeah,
And anyway, they did finally get her back, and you know, his grandparents are now banned from ever coming back to the US, and like it was a really ugly thing, but
yeah.
Mexico had no interest in helping them get their daughter back, their
No,
granddaughter back, none at all. And so as soon as I saw this case, it really worried me. I thought, my gosh, if she's in Mexico, they'll really struggle to ever find her or get her back. But her family doesn't think she's in Mexico. Because again, they said he really doesn't have any contacts in Mexico. That's not necessarily the case. And I'm only saying that because that was my first thought. I've been following her aunt on TikTok. Her aunt, whose brother is the brother of Christine Holloway. And so, of course, the family they're not giving up. They are, constantly searching. They're constantly talking to the news, constantly putting out new media, and looking. And the police haven't stopped looking either. They're still actively looking. They've been completely unable to get information out of dad. So this on the screen now in blue, that is an age progression. So she would be 2 now,
mhm.
and little kids, babies change a lot from 1 to 2. She's
Yeah,
not a
they
baby
do.
anymore. She's a toddler. Yeah. So that is a picture of what we suspect she would look like. At any rate, so, part of this case is the signal boost because there is a missing child out there whose family is desperate to know that she's okay and, are looking nonstop. There was an instance here just recently that a child around her age was found that looked similar to her wandering around in California.
Oh gosh.
And it pricked everybody's attention. They thought, oh my goodness, maybe it was her. And they located this child, and this baby was a boy, not her. I think they had a moment of hope and fear and, everything you can imagine, but not her. So there really haven't been any credible leads come up. So there's lots of questions because if you have a child that you don't have the birth certificate for or a social security number for, how? Or, is it possible that they've been able to obtain these things through, other means? Who has her? And is she okay? The family's absolutely determined that she's alive, that she was kidnapped, that he gave her to someone else for safekeeping because he knew the police were going to be searching for him. And that's all we know. So, and I guess the other question is because he hasn't actually been convicted yet, just charged and pled guilty to the murder in the first place. So, Kristi, the questions I have for you in the cold read are: is he the culprit? Did he kill Christine and kidnap the baby, for one? And for two, where is Vanessa?
Sure. Okay. First of all, yes, he definitely is the murderer and the kidnapper in this situation. Um, I do feel like in their relationship there was a lot of abuse and stuff that went on, and she was threatening to keep the baby away from him. She was threatening to stay away from him herself, and just she basically it's a classic domestic violence murder, which is, I hate to even say it like that, but it is one of the most
Mhm.
dangerous times in a domestic violence relationship is when a person tries to leave, and that's exactly what happened here. He killed her because she was trying to leave him. I do feel that the baby is okay. He took everything she would need. And
Yeah.
I do feel that he, in his twisted way, did take care of her. I feel she is in a Midwestern state. I do feel like she is with someone who is not a relative of him, is an old family friend kind of situation where it's not someone that would be easily linked. I feel like he immediately knew he shouldn't give her to family members because they'd be found immediately. But I
Mhm.
do feel like she's still in the US. I do feel she's being cared for and that she's safe. And I feel like there have been some fake documents produced for her in order to I feel like there was a purchase of fake documents in order to protect her.
Mm,
And she's been given a different identity. She's just being raised by a family who said they adopted her.
mhm,
And they have documentation to prove it. It's not real, but it has gotten them by so far.
mhm,
But that's really what I get. I don't know. It's either Iowa or Ohio, and those names are when you're trying to get a name through spirit. Sometimes it's hard to get the actual name, so you get sort of sounds. And so I feel she's
mhm,
either in Iowa or Ohio. Can't get a clear read on which one of those it is. I do feel these people live in a rural, like farm kind of area where not a lot of people would notice them or notice her.
mhm.
But I do feel the story being told is that she was adopted and that there was a family member who couldn't take care of her anymore. And so they took her in and adopted her.
Mhm.
And so
Do you
people
think
around
they
her don't have any question about who
Yeah.
she is.
Do you think they believe that story?
No,
Or do you think they actually know what happened?
I think they actually know.
Mhm,
I think they actually know. And we're just willing to take on another child. I mean, I feel like there's some connection between him and these people that would make them go out on a limb like this. It's
mhm.
definitely someone who has a connection to him
Yeah.
and who was willing to take this story on. But I also feel that they're very confident that they'll never be caught.
Mhm.
They're not hiding. They're not hiding her.
No, no.
She's just their child and they have documentation to prove she's their child. They don't care. They've
Yeah.
faked paperwork. And, you know, when you cross state lines, when it comes to like birth certificates and adoption papers and that kind of thing, those are all done by state courts. And
Right.
so when you get one, like I'm an adoptive parent, and so our paperwork came from an Idaho state court. So if you look at ours compared to another state, they may look
Mhm.
different, but that doesn't necessarily set off any alarm bells
Sure.
that they wouldn't be real. And so
Mhm.
there would have to be a question and then be researched to find out that they're not real.
Yeah.
And so I just feel like they go about living like they adopted this little girl. She's too young to remember.
Oh, yeah.
When she was 1, and she's not
Mhm.
gonna remember, she's not gonna know
Yeah.
herself.
Yeah. It wouldn't be that hard to just change her name and let her just blend in with your other kids, and
Yep.
yep,
Yeah.
yep, for sure. What do you think it would take for this baby to be found? I mean, obviously the family's holding a lot of hope and we don't want to dash their hope. It seems to me like there needs to be a much larger national push
Yeah.
of coverage of this case. I would have never learned about this case if I didn't see it on TikTok of all places.
Right. Without a national, media blitz with her pictures and stuff, I don't feel like
Mhm.
they will because he's never gonna tell. And I feel
No.
like no one else in his life knows where she is. He didn't tell anyone, only he knows.
Mhm. Yeah.
He made
Well,
a
it sounds like they
trip.
pretty extensively checked his mother out, and she's not got anything to say. I don't know that she even knows.
I don't feel she knows. I
Mhm.
don't feel he told anybody.
Do you think that he thought that at some point, that he'd be able to get off on these charges? I mean, he wasn't hiding from the police. It's not like they had a standoff with him or that it was a big manhunt. They picked him up at his mother's house, you
Right.
know?
No, he's very arrogant, and I
Yeah.
feel like by not saying anything, that the police will never be able to pin this on him. I don't think that's right at all. I feel like they will convict him,
Mhm.
but in his mind, he would, refuse to cooperate. They wouldn't be able to convict him, and then he would just go and be able to be with his kid.
Mhm.
Um, I don't feel that's how it's gonna play out. I do feel
Mhm.
he would be convicted.
Mhm.
Um, in his arrogance, he's made some pretty significant errors
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the murder of mom that they will be able to place it on him. But sometimes in abusive situations like this, the abuser becomes so full of their own hype that they
Mhm.
forget that they're in fact not God
Yeah.
and, are, um, vulnerable to the same laws and police and
Yeah.
prosecution that everyone is for doing what he did.
Mhm. For sure. Well, it's a comfort to know that she's safe and okay and that her needs are being met, and we will continue to
Yeah.
hold the faith very high that somebody squeals. Somebody sees something, and, maybe it'll be a Head Start teacher or a doctor or,
It
they will
likely
get more comfortable, they'll get more
will.
comfortable as she gets older, and that hopefully, that's the catalyst for bringing this little one home to her family. They
Mhm.
miss her terribly. It's such a heartbreak. They called her Peanut, and they
Oh,
still do. They're still missing their little Peanut. And all right, well, guys, you know what to do. You keep your eyes peeled and share her story and make sure that people in your area know that this child is missing. And we'll continue to hold faith and space that she will be reunited with her family.
yeah, absolutely.
All righty. Well, that is it for this edition. We want to remind you guys that we are changing our Wednesday night case updates, our live stream on Wednesday night, and our Thursday night live stream, the Psychic Hour, are permanently changing this week to 7 p.m. Mountain Time. They have been at 8. We're listening to you East Coasters who we've made it hard on to come and hang out with us. So we're going to move that an hour earlier. That will start tonight, Wednesday
Yes,
night, with the case update. So come and see us at 7, and hopefully you guys get the word. And if not, I know you'll be back next week. But
for sure.
these are our cases this week. So, of course, on Monday, we covered another missing or murdered Indigenous woman case. And then yesterday, we had a hell of a case about Undertaker, who was creating his own patients or his own clients, I guess. And then, of course, this case today. So lots of good cases this week and lots more to come. And then, of course, don't forget to check out Spirit School. If you would like to study with us, if you're interested in the metaphysical aspect of the work that we do have a subscription to our site that's $14.99 a month that you get one guided meditation and 2 classes with us every month. So keep an eye on that. That's what we've got going on.
Definitely.
All righty. Well, here we go. This has been True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. Take care.
Bye, guys.